Hello everybody, this is your host, Mick. And today on the next episode of Clone Calamity, we have the Klone by Noise Space Audio. So, the original tone I was playing with on the Roland SH-4d was just an arpeggiated style of darker bass. And then when having this going, did a little bit more there. Now, one thing about this clone here, it uses new old stock diodes, I believe. Let me get up my reference literature here so I can give proper information. Where did I set it down? I had the papers here. I had a meme here, and I seem to have lost it in the shuffle. But boy, does it tell it all. Okay, yeah, so it uses new old stock D9E blue stripe Soviet diodes, which I just say D, but it's not a D, it's the Cyrillic symbol. No electrolytic capacitors within the audio path, only film capacitors, and 2 extra switches for extra fun. And this pedal is gone and made within Kiev, Ukraine. So this was a pain to get. but I don't mind. It's a good pedal. So here's the instructions they gave with it. It has 3 whole knobs here. And with the 3 knobs here, we also have a couple of toggle switches, which I can greatly appreciate. As you have noticed, I have been doing only 3 knobs for the longest time. Next episode of this series will be the last one of 3 knob clones for a good minute, as I cannot do any more 3 knob clones for a while. It is painful. So we have our normal gain, treble output. The left switch here is for up is a sparkle boost, and down is the stock clone. And then this is a 3-position switch here, where up goes ahead and does low frequency more, middle is low frequency less, and down is stock. Now they do note with the asterisk here that more prominent when gain above 1300, so that'll be for these 2 switches, which is why I had to gain a little bit past 1 o'clock there. Anyways, let's go ahead and do our testing. I'll put everything back down to stock here. We'll have gain and treble all the way down, and then we're going to start with the output at middle, and we're going to see what we can get with doing the knobs, as we always do. And I'll run through all of them, and then I'll run through a couple of the settings. I think that was a good showing of it, as you can easily tell, especially when I had the gain above 1 o'clock as necessary. I kept it there so we would be able to easier hear the differences within the sound there. I'm going to dial in a new patch, and then we're going to, I'm going to do some playing that you can listen to, and then we're going to get into the points. Well, that was the playing there. The original tone was just, which I was mixing a square wave for the bass, and then for the lead a bit of just a PW style. And because then the tone, how it's modulated, became. Before we continue on, I do have to mention that this channel is sponsored by DefCloud. DefCloud is a small family-run business that has over 600 positive reviews as of time of filming, and because they are a smaller business, they are able to carry a lot of brands that bigger ones do not have. They are very responsive and very good people. I was a customer of theirs before they decided to sponsor me, and they have brands such as Court, Arturia, and Korg for some of the bigger ones, and then a lot of the smaller ones they can actually get in DS Custom. Pretty good stuff there. Go ahead and check them out, and feel free to ask them any questions within the chat, as they are a very responsive and knowledgeable staff there. Thanks again for DefCloud for sponsoring the channel, and back to the video. Let's just start with the points. Construction. Everything is solid. Plastic knobs. The switches are very good. This is solid. But given it's not metallic knobs too, as again, that's my only gripe that I always do, you just get the standard 4 out of 5. Nothing wrong with that. That is just my preferences. But I don't think this will break anytime soon, and the knobs are easily replaceable as it is the screw-in types. Everything seems nice. I do like the flat LED though. That is very decent there. For the tone itself, by standard of Klons, I always give 3.5 out of 5, but the extra 2 switches, especially when you are working higher gain settings, actually do make a significant difference. Rather than a lot of times people will put extra features on there and you can barely tell the difference. This actually does make a difference, so I will bump this up to a good 4 out of 5. And because of everything being nice and equal with 2 4 out of 5s with everything here, I will give it a little bit of extra points because the DC jack is actually pretty decent on this one. Can't really turn it to show it because it is all plugged in, but my whole thing with it is that the DC jack is decent and it actually is mounted to that pedal itself instead of the PCB, so that is a lot more good for construction. So we'll go ahead and make the total 4.1825 out of 5. Good job. Once again, this has been your host, Vic. Go ahead and like the video if you like the video, or just go ahead and like the video, as it does help me within the algorithm that I do not understand, and I refuse to understand it as I am not an influencer. If you call me an influencer, that is essentially a slur. Never call me that. I'm a musician. Anyways, go ahead and subscribe, as it is appreciated, and this will help push whatever this is out to more people. And if you know anybody who enjoys clones or synthesizers, please refer them to my channel, as I just go ahead and would appreciate growing a little bit, as I am providing knowledge for free, because it's just nice, you know, free stuff here for anybody. Go ahead and also leave a comment if you do know any other clones you believe I may have missed. As of time of filming, I'm at 105 clones. And if you think I have missed one, please go ahead and leave a comment, and I will look into it and let you know if I missed it or not, as I am trying to make this the most comprehensive series possible, where at the very end we will be doing one single pedal board with all the clones on at a single time. I need money for more Chalk's power, so please go check out my merch store in the description and either buy something or just throw money in the tip jar, which is akin to just setting money on fire, because you are giving it to a literal jester on the internet. Just saying. Well, once again, this has been your host, Nick. Thanks for watching. Bye.